Good morning. Welcome once again to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman Bergeron here at Humanity Healing. Uh, it's another lovely Friday morning here on the southwest coast of Maine in the USA. Little chilly, but it is the season, and we're looking forward to just sunny days and not too cold right away. So bless you all wherever you are around the world, and hope that everything is well where you live. It's a strange time now in our world where we never really know what is going to happen next. And so yesterday I celebrated uh, my 31st rebirth day. Uh, I had died in a motorcycle accident 31 years ago yesterday. And leading up to this has been a real amazing journey. I won't remember it later on in my journey, but how things seem to have cleared. A lot of stuff has cleared, a lot of stuff has gone away. And I always when I first came back, I worked with numerology. I didn't understand it at all, but I had a great book. And I used it to do numerology for other people. And it was quite accurate. I never retained that information, but I've always followed it, knowing that it had a promise or a premise, either one, both, maybe, uh, to encourage us to look inside of ourselves at something we may not feel or see because we're reading it about us. And in the moment of receiving that kind of information, it sends the brain on a little journey to seek what does that mean for me? Is that real? Is that not real? Is that just woo-woo garbage? Or is there some truth and reality to that? Well, it's both and it's either or. And for many people, they just dismiss it and, oh, that's a nice thing, but I'm not going to pay attention to it. And others follow it very intensely, and those people dive deeper into the old ways of numerology. So today's topic is becoming a 10. And because today breaks down to a 10, when we look at the numbers, it's 10, 21, 2022. And if you add all of those numbers together, you get a 10, which is basically, you break it down to one number. But in that, you have two. You have one and zero. And we'll tell you that zero is not a number. Well, everything comes from a 0 point. So it's the original number. It's the shape of it. It's the sacred geometry of zero that makes it a powerful number, in spite of what people might think. And I can't get into that with you, but I will just express that. Uh, so today's message was really uh, something that I looked at, and I said, okay, I looked it up and I looked at it for me and I looked at the meanings of it. And what it really came down to is that every day we deal with numbers, okay? But most of the time, the numbers are representing dollars, or there are finances, or uh, things that we've got to do, lists. We got one, two. So numbers are really a language for all of us, but done not in a way that tells us about ourselves. What it does is sends the message to um, the brain to calculate in that uh, sort of zero and ones pattern, much like what we're talking on now. It's the zeros and ones. Interesting. Zeros and one become a 10. Are we becoming computers? Are our brains really being primed and, how do I say this, manipulated into becoming more computer-like? And if so, what does that do to us as a human species? Those are thoughts that came up this morning for me. And I'm not going to talk about those aspects of it right now, but I want you to think about the number one and the number zero. And so what I've done is just kind of shortly just go through what came up for me, which is what I do every Friday morning. I don't plan my talks. I get up early and ask spirit and guides to direct me, and that's what happens. So it's a fun process I've been doing, and I'm glad to share it with each of you. And if you listen and get something from it, then all the better, and that's my intention. So, as I said, 10 breaks down to 1 and 0. And the number 1 um, relates to self leadership and ambition. So it's about us. We are the one. We are a sing. If you look at us, we are like the number 1. We're pretty much shaped like the number 1 in many ways. Uh, and it calls us to look deep within ourselves. And it calls us to look deep within ourselves to find the truth. What truth, you may ask, is the truth about who are we really, and what are we really here to do that we're not doing? That for many reasons, we've veered off our original path, and we feel there's something missing or we're not accomplishing, and yet we just keep dismissing it. So I don't know what it is. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. And yet we read of people all the time who are in corporate worlds or in restaurants and food, and all of a sudden they wake up one day and say, I'm not doing this anymore. This doesn't align with me. So what happens is they go within, and some spark of light refers them to what their heart may want to do, not their brain. Good morning, Radhika. Bless you, dear heart. Good to see you here. And so this process of trying to shift our beingness is natural. We wake up and we feel a little disoriented. Well, what's happening is really what we're doing is we're receiving messages from within our heart that are not aligning with those of our brain. And while to continue on the brain's path is really uh, not a bad thing unless you're doing things harmful to others or creating situations that are harmful to nature, then then you need to really look and say, I need to stop this. But if it's, within the genre of balance and health and wellness for everybody, yourself included, there's no reason you need to change, except for the fact that you're not honoring your true self. And so that's the question, is what is your true self? Who is that true self? And what does that true self really want to do? If I look at my life on my death, before my death, I did a lot of things. I was very good at a lot of things, and I was very, successful in many ways. And I didn't even know I had half those gifts. So it was an exploration of who was I. And I can look back now, and all of those years, which were almost 40 something years, were searching. I kept searching for myself. I had my near death experience and I came back, and I realized that everything was out of whack. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. But I kept now had this ability to open, the mind was open it was almost like somebody opened the can, took the lid off the can, and I could now receive information that I probably already received, but I dismissed, or I didn't listen to, or I thought that's just a dream, or that's just nonsense, or the alcohol or drugs that I was doing. So I never trusted that because in myself, I always wanted to escape. I always wanted to escape, even though what was I escaping? I had no idea. Many of us have spent our lives trying to escape, and we need to now anchor our feet into the heart of Mother Earth and say, no, I am firmly here, and I seek to find my purpose, my true purpose here. I get a little long-winded off my show notes, so that's why I have them here. Love you all. You're so tolerant. Uh, so do you have so the question I have is when we look inside of ourselves for the truth of our purpose, what is it in this rapidly changing world? Because it's like, ooh, we're doing kind of a flip and a flip back, and we're spinning at the same time. It's really kind of crazy out there. It's also crazy in here. It's making us crazier in here. So, do you have a hidden desire? Have you always had a hidden desire? Have you always had a dream about doing something? Or have you always been fascinated with something, that attracted you and you just admired and you said, and it may be one of those things where you said, I wish I could do that. Why can't you do it is the question. And why can't you have that and be that is the question. And that's what the number one is telling us, that when we come into self leadership, when we start to take control of our lives and say, I am this beautiful being of light and love and peace, and I start to recognize that, then I can now imagine or think in those directions and say, oh, what if I just play with this? And I do it as, a sport or a time thing. Some people doodle. They didn't know they were a great artist. Some people will write little notes, didn't realize that they were a great writer. Many things we do in this world mixed in with what we need to do to survive financially, physically, etc. But we also have this hidden treasure in ourselves that is us. And this is what I tell people, you don't have to die to get this. That was my journey. I had to do that. I had so much heaviness that I had to either die and leave entirely and come back some other time, or I had the opportunity to do it now. And that was the gift I was given. Not everybody gets that gift. For those of you who have had near-death experiences, some of you have come back with a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. So I can't address that. But I do know for me that it's a miracle in many ways. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm having this talk. And thank you, Humanity Healing, for allowing me to talk right here to all of you. So, what is that hidden desire that is hiding within you? It's time to explore. I want you to explore the possibilities of a new beginning. What does a new beginning look for you? It doesn't mean you have to give everything up. What if you looked and you said, you're at the stoplight at the intersection. What if I take a right to get where I'm going instead of going straight? We know that going straight down the road we're on is going to take us to whatever destination is. But what if we just take a right-hand turn What's down there? And I know if I get back, I can get back and I can come back on the road down further. But I just want to see what's down there. That's the challenge. Can you look at another part of yourself that you think might be interesting, that might be fulfilling? And just go take a peek. Take a right turn, a left turn, whatever. Take a spaceship to the sky. Doesn't matter how you get there. Just offer yourself that opportunity. Because we've been taught to follow everybody. Been taught to be followers. And you can see the people who are in leadership now around the world, uh, they didn't follow everybody. They decided to take the world by their hands and they executed that full potential that they have to become leaders. Now we're in a place where the leaders that are leading us are corrupted. They're greedy. They're not looking out for humans. Humans, all of us, are just a number in a machine. We represent dollars. We represent profit. We represent loss. We are a commodity. Well, the other time, a few months ago, when they were talking about making water a commodity, the truth is they've made us commodities. And it hit me so hard when I did that because water is life. We are water. There's no separation between us and water. So, what do we do if we're now becoming a commodity? That's in many ways, you could use the old word enslavement, really, because we have to do what we're told. We have to, and we may have this dream, and then the world says, no, you can't do that. That's against the law. That you don't have any right over your body. And I'm not going to say I'm for or against abortion, but I am for the fact that the woman who's giving birth has the right to know what to do with her body, as the male has to know what to do with his body. And it's time we started to respect each other's as these beautiful divine beings who have the right of sovereignty to deal with what they eat, where they live, etc., and stop all of this bickering and brain bashing. My guide just saying it's brain bashing that we're experiencing. Number one, who are you as a leader? Number one, what is your ambition? So the new beginnings are driven by a desire. They're driven by a motivation within you to reach a level of trust within yourself, a trust in your ability to stand up and be a pillar in your community. And when I mean a pillar, we look at the old temples, they had pillars. The old standing stones are pillars. They were tall, they were strong, they showed strength, they showed visibility. I am visible, I am strong. I hold up this, I hold up the umbrella to keep us all safe. This is where each of us can all be a little better. For those of us who have children, I don't have them anymore, but grown, but young children, they're moving into this world, and we have a responsibility to clean the damn thing up before they get sucked into the swamp. Pardon my language, but that's how I look at it. Every child that's born and every young child that's going to school is now being exposed to victimization, whether it's bullying, whether it's crazy people with automatic weapons, whether it's whatever it is. I'm not even going to go there because it's so negative. But that's what we are here. Those of us who are still here, it is our responsibility to say, how am I going to use my number one ability to change that? And know that as I do that and others do that, we can co-create. It's all about co-creating. I don't have to do it alone. I will find others. Just like this Global Heart Team, I found others who want to share love with the world and we're not afraid of expressing that. And I've gained even greater strength and ability to do it as I trust myself. Number one is about trusting. Number one is about trusting who we are and following the guidance of that higher self that talks to us. It goes through the brain, comes into the heart, and goes back up. We're looking at the chakras and it's all coming down and it's all coming up. But it's here first that it lands. And it's from here that it reaches here. It doesn't start here. It starts here. Everything starts right here in your heart. And so, who is this self that has this wisdom? The wisdom that needs to be shared with all of life on earth. I read a sad article before I wrote this. I think it was in Iraq or Iran, I think it was, about children being beaten and some dying. And I look and I say, how do we as humans and fathers and mothers turn our heads? I don't understand. How do we do that? And this is what we're missing. We're missing this self, this capital SELF within us that exists, that has always existed. It's only been buried deep under a pile of garbage. A pile of garbage that has destroyed the planet and is destroying us as a species. So there's the reason why we need to become the number one and address it. And it's all about new beginnings. It's about being optimistic, confident, highly creative human beings. It's you without fear. It's you with the determination that rises unadulterated from within your heart. That's what it's about. Rising from your heart. And knowing its place is to listen rather than calculate and respond. And when we listen with our hearts, there's a different energy. We listen with our ears and our brain, it goes in a process. So it's like talking into a microphone, and the microphone sends everything in there. But when we listen from our heart, we feel it. We feel it here first. And if it's negative, it doesn't feel good. You don't have to think about it. You automatically don't feel good. Listen to your body. The negativity in the world is, if not the biggest disease, it's, let me call it, the biggest killer of humans. Those are my guides speaking through me. And they talk about the negativity to me all the time because I get negative. And then they go, stop it. They sometimes don't show a lot of mercy. They just say, stop it. And I have to respond because I know what alternatives are, and I know what can happen when I don't listen. And it's not serious, but I don't need to go through all of that drama. So deep within our hearts is this optimistic, confident, highly creative human being. It's you. It's you without fear and with a determination that rises unadulterated from within your heart to the brain, which knows its place is to listen rather than to calculate and respond. We forgot the brain needs to listen. It's not in charge. The heart is in charge. The heart stops, the brain stops. You're not going to keep the brain alive for very long without the heart. Just remember that. It's real simple. It's like kindergarten, you know. You can't taste the lollipop if you don't take the wrapper off. It's real simple. So some people call it the God force, okay, and which is the number 0, the God force. So we have, this is the number 10. We're 1, and then we have 0. And the 0 is the God force. It's the source. It's the beginning. It's shaped like an egg. So you can look at it as an embryo, an egg, a cell. You can see the shape is the beginning. It's a stretched out circle. It's more oval as we write it. But it's really that center circle, the circle of life, the point within all points that develops and moves out and becomes the toroidal field that we all know and respect. And we are learning more about it in our hearts as a toroidal field. That's the 0, the 0 point. It doesn't mean there's nothing there. There's nothing only because it's not physical, it's not tangible. You can't eat it, smell it, taste it, take it. You can't control it. It is always there, feeding us energy. And the energy forms change for integrity and intensity. Yet they always remain to keep us balanced and harmonized within this structure, if you will, that we call body. It's not extremely difficult to see all of this and realize all of this. And in many ways, the energies change. They change form. They change intensity. Yet they always remain within us. And we're the ones who control how much of those get out to the world and how much of it we hold. And when we hold it, we lock it down, we shrink inside out of fear and pain and suffering. Our body is not designed to hold that energy, and we become sick. We start having mental problems, physical problems. We need to learn to release that energy in a healthy manner. And when we can do that, we become the river that's flowing. So all of these things are the things that I've learned in my own experience for the past 31 years. And they didn't come easy, and they doesn't mean they're not worth going for. Because every time we have one of those aha moments, we become closer to being that 10, that 1, and that 0 in balance. This is all about our spiritual self. But it's our spiritual self that really rules and guides our physical self. It isn't somebody else's self that does it. They can guide and direct us, they can give us directions. But if we live in a world where we trust everybody, we're going to go off the pier and the bridge, and we're going to go down the bad road, and we're going to go into that alley because people are not being integral to their higher self, their heart self. The heart wants to harm no one. The heart doesn't need a gun. The heart doesn't need land. It needs water. This is important for all of us to remember because in the near future, this is going to be a very big issue. We are not a commodity, nor is water a commodity. So we need to become that 1 and 0, that 10, that numerological. You can look up the number 10 and read about it, read what it says. Because those, as I said this morning, I wanted to say, what guidance are you giving me to move forward? And I looked at the date and I said, I need to look up the numerological meaning of that. And I only looked at one source. But the reality of it is, it isn't about the numbers, it's about us. It's about us. Because all teachings about the energies of our spiritual self tell us about a higher vibrational understanding that we can't all put into words by many different teachers who speak different languages and live different lifestyles. They've tried their best, they've done their best to put them into books and teachings. Yet some contradict each other in several ways. And so they say, you're not the real truth. You're not the real truth. Well, no, I'm not saying truth, but I am the truth in accordance with my understanding of my history, of my ancestors. But my ancestors didn't live where your ancestors lived. So they dealt with a completely different environment and different situations and developed different ways to be in balance with it. And now, as you can see, we're around the world, we're mixing all over the world. And what has that caused was my way is better than your way, or my teaching, or my ancestor, or blah, 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 blah. Are we not all humans? Are we all not living on planet Earth? Does it really matter how tall we are? How fat we are? What color we are? How many arms and legs we have? Does that make me really any different than you? Other than a person who wants to live in harmony and balance with the environment? Each of us need to be original. We need to pay particular attention to our intuition and allow that to lead us a little bit more. Allow that to create independence, a little more independence, and offer us an inside look at our creative powers so that we can co-create together. We are all needed. There's not anybody that needs to be left behind. There are some who will always be not in agreement. This is where the one, the power that we have to be real, to be honest, to be fully aligned, like the chakras, the one. The one feeds the zero. What is our energy field? A zero. What are we? We're a 10. We're a 10 with the one and the zero. I want you to be that one. I want you to be that zero. Be determined. Be individually successful. Work with your energy. Work with your love. Work with your passion and compassion. May we all co-create positive actions. Positive actions that will rebalance all of us, not just a few who want to rule the world and have billions of dollars, which are worthless if there's nothing left to buy. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I am you. You are me. We are unity. One heart, one love, forever. No matter what we do, that will never change. It's just going to be a little bit more fun. We start listening to our heart rather than our minds. They can't rule heart yet. All I can do is stop it. They can make one beat. They can even make a fake one. They're learning how to make fake ones, but it has no connection to who we truly are. They will be just living robots. Take a deep breath. Perhaps what I said has triggered things within you. Please know that the intention was not to incite fear or create a disturbance, other than to allow you to remember to be a 10. And what does that mean for you? Love you all. Bless you all. We'll see you next Friday. May the greater creator than all of us shine brightly and not let us fail. Love you all. Bless you. Thank you for your comments. I love to read them afterwards. And yeah, enjoy whatever season you're in, or it's changing to. Some of you are getting warmer, we're getting colder. My maple tree has lost all its leaves very early this year. But you know, we're all here together.